This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardinis, to use this as an educational material.
Greek Ancient Triumvirate.
Ancient Greek philosophy arose in the 6th century BC and lasted through the Hellenistic period, 323 BC to 30 BC. Greek philosophy covers an absolutely enormous amount of topics including political philosophy, ethics, metaphysics, ontology, the study of the nature of being, becoming, existence, or reality, logic, biology, rhetoric, and aesthetics, branch of philosophy dealing with art, beauty, and taste. Greek philosophy is known for its undeniable influence on Western thought. Although there were Greek philosophers before their respective births, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle are the only three worth focusing during that period. Socrates Socrates, born in Athens in 470 BC, is often credited as one of the founders of Western philosophy. The cloud of mystery surrounding his life and philosophical viewpoints proposed a problem so large that it's given a name itself, the Socratic problem. Since he did not write philosophical texts, all knowledge related to him is entirely dependent on the writings of other people of the time period. Works by Plato, Xenophon, Aristotle, and Aristophanes contain all of the knowledge known about this enigmatic figure. His largest contribution to philosophy is the Socratic method. The Socratic method is defined as a form of method, inquiry, and discussion between individuals, based on asking and answering questions to illuminate ideas. The method is performed question after question with the purpose of seeking to expose contradiction in one's thoughts, guiding him or her to arrive at a solid, tenable conclusion. The principle underlying the Socratic method is that humans learn through the use of reasoning and logic, ultimately finding holes in their own theories and then patching them up.
Plot 2. Plato carved out a subject matter for philosophy by formulating and discussing a wide range of metaphysical and ethical questions. To explain the similarities and resemblance among objects of the physics world, he developed a metaphysics of form. His views about ethical questions could be grounded in his metaphysics of form via the contemplation of form of the good. Plato therefore found an inherent connection between metaphysics and ethics. His greatest work, The Republic, developed an insightful analogy between harmony in state and harmony in the individual. In its often considered one of the greatest works ever written. Plato wrote dialogue that considered the nature of virtue itself, as well as the nature of particular virtues. He also considered epistemological questions such as whether knowledge is justified through belief. The Aristotle's intellectual range was vast, covering most of the science and many of an art, including biology, botany, chemistry, ethics, history, logic, metaphysics, rhetoric, philosophy of mind, philosophy of science, physics, biotic, biotic, politic theory, psychology, and zoology. He was the founder of formal logic, devising for his Finnish system that for centuries was regarded as the sum of the discipline. And he pioneered, pioneered the study of zoology, both observational and theoretical, in which some of his work remains unsurpassed until 19th century. But he is of course most outstanding as a philosopher. He writing in ethics and political theory as well as metaphysics and the philosophy of science continue to be studied. And his work remains a powerful current and contemporary philosophical debate. The article deals with Aristotle's life and thought for, for a later development of Aristotelian philosophy. See Aristotelian form treatment of Aristotelianism in the full context Western philosophy. See philosophy Western.
Medieval philosophy is conventionally construed as the philosophy of Western Europe between the decline of classical pagan culture and the Renaissance. Such as a broad topic cannot be covered in detail in a single article, and unfortunately, there is no need to do so since other articles in this encyclopedia treat individual medieval philosophers and topics. The present article will confine itself to articulate some of the overall contours of medieval philosophy. Saint Augustine was successful in mastering philosophy despite not having studied it formally. Through it, he managed to explain his concerns in the theological field, creating great contributions to both currents, such as number 1, theory of time. In his books of Confessions, Saint Augustine pointed out that time is part of an order that is carried within the human mind. For him, there is no present without a past, much less a future without a present. Because of this, he mentioned that the present of past experience is kept in the memory while the present of current experience is established in the near future. With this, he managed to imply that even when the remembering man is kept in a present revived moment and dreaming of future actions. Number 2, language learning. Augustine brought great thoughts of human language, making references in the way in which children learn to speak through the environment of association. Likewise, he said that truth space only seek to teach because when asking even for something unknown, the person who has the answer is allowed to reflect on that will see of expose his point of view of freely. On the other hand, he pointed out that through language it is taught and learned through memory, which is stored in the soul and externalized with thought to communicate with people. Number 3, statement of faith as a resource of confession. Saint Augustine affirmed that one should believe to understand, thus pointing to faith as the perfect method for understanding, since it is the basis of testimony and truth through the reason of feeling. Based on this, he invited Christians to understand the reality according to their faith and the doctrines imposed, so that they could see that everything was related, provided faith was not indifferent to reason. A full understanding will come. Number 4, refuted skepticism. It is known that Augustine was at the one time related to the skepticism. Nevertheless, so speaking the Neoplatico knowledge defined that the thought is existed, and even if it was also discarding the fact that there was no truth. Number 5, he influenced the ontological argument. His writing related to the Christian faith give strength to the ontological argument, making it clear that God was a being like to other could exist, someone sublime and supreme, explaining to beliefs that knowing the truth was known. Number 6, illustrated God as internal and knower of the truth. For Saint Augustine, that human being was able to learn universal truth or over man's known knowledge. Therefore, his understanding the design of God, wisdom was obtained because he was eternal truth. Number 7, he created a theory of human knowledge. Because of his perception of knowledge, he created a theory known as divine enlightenment, where he mentioned that God is able to enlighten and bring knowledge to human by giving it divine truths. Therefore, however, God is assured as his universal truth revealed mysteries. Number 8, he defined evil as the absences of humanity. Saint Augustine maintained that evil was an absence of humanity in the person, so those who could not be kind and did not give his life to this feeling, which was a symbol of putting first being before the opinion and the right of others. As an example, he used Philosopher to point out that he thought of his benefits of not of God, which give life to evil after a selfish action. He therefore invited people to think in terms of everything to live in peace. Number 9, recognize wisdom as a whole that leads to happiness. Based on the Plato's philosophy, he understood wisdom as a unique happiness, so he assured that man knowing the truth would be happy because love was also present in him. Lastly, number 10, he showed redemption as a path of liberation. For Saint Augustine, redemption was the way to freedom, and this was achieved through love of God. For this reason, he only affirmed that only by knowing God could the human side be awakened. And the importance of the self be set aside to commit oneself to common God and feel free.
Father Anthony Timilo SG is considered one of the foremost mystical theologians of the late 20th century. His simple and direct approach to life continues to untie all kinds of blockage, preventing man's acceptance of spiritual nature. Even decades after his unexpected death, Demelius rejected authenticity, love for all his characteristics. Luther talented, tender to disarm any negative preconceived notions against his ideas. As far as my research goes, I see the most of the I knew him personally can attest to his sincere and friendly attitude to all people from every religious position free, comfortable, and soulfully at home near him. Through his book, Anthony de Milo still speak out about his and freedom by illuminating us on how to perceive conflict and paradoxes differently. That is by showing us that there's an enlivening core of wisdom, which is far more than fundamental than our attachments to partial consistencies. Kindly and sadly, De Mello often use stories which offered unexpected solutions to paradoxical situations we might be able to relate with. Each of these solutions recapitulated an essential institutions that apparently sprang from his direct awareness of non-related truth. As far as I know, this institution was integrated into his whole being, exalting joy, care, and showing attentive sympathy towards those that approach him.
Modern philosophy.
Modern philosophy is a philosophy developed in the modern era and associated with more modernity. It is not a specific doctrine or school, and those should not be confused with modernism. Although there are certain assumptions common to much of it, which helps is distinguish it from earlier philosophy. René Descartes was a French philosopher, scientist, and mathematician widely considered as seminal figure in the emergence of modern philosophy and science. Mathematics was a central of his method of inquiry, and he connected to the previously separate fields of geometry and algebra into analytic geometry. David Hume was a Scottish Enlightenment philosopher, historian, economist, librarian, and essayist who is best known today for his highly influential system of philosophical empiricism, skepticism, and naturalism. John Locke was an English philosopher and physician, widely regarded as one of the most influential of Enlightenment thinkers and commonly known as the father of liberalism.
Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant is the central figure in modern philosophy. He synthesized early modern rationalism and empiricism. set a tone for much of 19th and 20th century philosophy and continues to exercise significant influence today in metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, political philosophy, aesthetics, and other fields. The fundamental idea of Kant's critical philosophy, especially in his three critiques, the, the critic of pure reason, the critic of practical reason, and the critic of the power of judgment. He argues that the human understanding is the source of general laws of nature that structure all our experience, and that human reason gives itself the moral law, which is our basis for belief in God, freedom, and immortality. Paul Churchland. Paul Churchland has been viewed as a provocative, controversial philosopher of mind and science for over 3 decades. This collection offers an introduction to his work as well as critique of some of most famous philosophical positions, and includes contributions by established as well as promising young philosophers. It is intended to complement the growing literature on Churchland, focusing on his contributions in isolation from those of his wife and philosophical partner, or she is Patricia Churchland, and his contributions to philosophy as distinguished from those he made to cognitive science. Edmund Husserl. Edmund Husserl was the principal founder of phenomenology, and thus one of the most influential philosophers of 20th century. He has made important contributions to almost all areas of philosophy and anticipated central ideas of neighboring disciplines such as linguistics, sociology, and cognitive psychology. Merleau-Ponty. Marius Merleau-Ponty is widely recognized as one of the major figures of 20th century philosophy. The recent publication of his lecture courses and posthumous working notes has opened new avenues for both the interpretation of his thought and philosophy in general. This work confirmed that with a surprising premonition, Merleau-Ponty addressed many of the issues that concern philosophy today. With the benefit of this fuller picture of his thought, Merleau-Ponty and contemporary philosophy undertakes an assessment of the philosopher's relevance for contemporary thinking, covering a diverse range of topics including ontology, epistemology, anthropology, embodiment, animality, politics, language, aesthetics, and art. The editors gather representative voices from North America and Europe, including both Merleau-Ponty specialists and thinkers who have come to philosophers' work through their own thematic interests.
Postmodernism.
Postmodernism is a late of 20th century style and concept in the arts, architecture, and criticism that represents a departure from modernism and has its heart and general distrust of grand theories and ideologies, as well as problematical relationship with any nation of art. Postmodern is a mode of discourse that is characterized by philosophical skepticism toward the grand narratives offered by modernism, that rejects epistemologically certainty and stability of meaning, and rejects of the emphasis on ideology as the means of maintaining political power. Many postmodernists hold one more of the following views. 1. There is no objective reality. There is no scientific or historical truth. Science and technology, and even reason and logic, are not vehicles of human progress, but suspect instruments of established power
reason and logic are not universally valid. There is no such thing as human nature. Human behavior and psychology are socially determined or construct. Language does not refer to our reality outside itself. There is no certain knowledge and no general theory of natural or social world can be a valid or true. All are illegitimate meta-narratives.